There have been several leads to Bundy's whereabouts since his escape a couple of weeks ago, but none of them has panned out. They don't know where he is. But if you see him, call a cop. He has 2 guns, and he is considered very dangerous.
Tonight, the best of Extra. Ted Bundy said he'd never try to escape. And is Ben really bozo? And is he really she?
With the basketball game preempting the regular schedule, the programming department had some extra time, and we got it. I'm Lucky Severson, and this is Extra. We're normally on at 6:30 p.m. on Wednesday, and for those of you who haven't caught us, Extra is a little something of everything about everything from all over. During the past year, we were threatened with a lawsuit by Evel Knievel, but it could have been worse. We were kicked off an Indian reservation, accused of swinging an election in Cedar City, and police suspected that we were running drugs in Mexico when we were only running for the restroom. We hope that you find our program as interesting and have as much fun watching it as we do in doing it. Tonight we are going to rerun some of the pieces we've had some requests for. The first deals with the man everyone is looking for. He is Ted Bundy, and he has a knack for getting out of jail. Most recently, he escaped from the Glenwood Springs, Colorado jail, where he was being held on a first-degree murder charge. He was transferred there from the Utah State Prison, where he was serving 1 to 15 for aggravated kidnapping, and he is the target of investigations of somewhere around 20 murders in the western United States, all involving young women. We interviewed him outside the cell he escaped from. He said he was not guilty, and he would never try to escape.
Getting out, do you ever worry about what some of the parents of some of these women who think you are guilty, that they might come after you?
I don't worry about it. There are crazy people anywhere. I've been told that the parents of these girls are fairly decent people. I don't know, and I really feel for them because apparently they've suffered an incredible tragedy in their lives. The loss of a loved one is probably the most extreme kind of loss you can suffer in this life. And I say I feel as much for them as anybody can, not having gone through that myself. But as far as worrying about that, hey, if someone's crazy enough and nutty enough to do something like that, I can't stop them. There's nothing I can do.
You are not guilty.
I'm not guilty. Does that include the time I stole a comic book when I was 5 years old? I am not guilty of the charges which have been filed against me.
And the allegations?
And the allegations.
And the rumors and the...
I don't know all of what you're speaking about, Lucky. It's too broad and I can't get into it in any detail. But I'm satisfied with my blanket statement that I'm innocent. No man is truly innocent. I mean, we all have transgressed in some way in our lives, and as I say, I've been impolite, and there are things I regret having done in my life, but nothing like the things I think that you're referring to. There's a lot of police ego on the line. I know that a lot of men in the Detectives Division of the Salt Lake County Sheriff's Office jobs are on the line. I know that it's a long time ago it ceased to be an issue as to whether or not I was innocent or guilty. The issue is now is can we pin it on it? Can we follow through and maintain our reputation as law enforcement officers? And I'll tell you, as long as they attempt to keep their heads in the sand about me, there's going to be people turning up in canyons, and there are going to be people being shot in Salt Lake City because the police there aren't willing to accept what I think they know, and they know that I didn't do these things.
Are you angry?
Sure, I get angry. I get very, very angry and indignant. I don't like being locked up for something I didn't do, and I don't like my liberty taken away, and I don't like being treated like an animal, and I don't like people walking around and ogling me like I'm some sort of weirdo, because I'm not. I'm perfectly happy with the person I am, and I've always been. There's I don't pay my telephone bills on time, and I don't write my mother as many letters as I should. There are all kinds of things I can improve about myself, but a weirdo knows I feel good about myself. I'm happy with myself.
You don't change. You stay Ted Bundy 24 hours a day.
Well, gee, that name sounds funny. You know, I hear Ted Bundy in so many different contexts. I stay me, okay? I've matured in the past year. Believe me, I've grown in the past year, and I've learned a lot of things about myself in the past year. Being in prison, going through a kind of hell, matures a person, and I think it's done good things for me. My only misgivings is that I might never be in a position to apply it, you know, on the streets where I'd like to apply it.
Do you ever think when you're in that cell about the possibility that you could one day face a firing squad?
They don't have firing squads in Colorado, and I don't think that in any event that I ever think. I don't think about it, honest to God. And I've been asked that question before, and I'm going to give you a pat answer if you don't mind. Did you fly over here from Utah?
Yes.
Did it worry you all the way over that you might be killed in a plane crash?
No.
Are you thinking about it now, going back? Same here. I think I stand about as much chance of dying in front of a firing squad or in a gas chamber as you do being killed on a plane flight home. Let's hope you don't. But
so you don't lie awake at night thinking about it?
Not a moment. Honest to God, not a moment. My attorney, John O'Connell in Salt Lake, and I've always mused over just how I should behave. What's the right way for Ted Bundy to behave and make sure that people get the right impression? And I just behaved the way I felt was right. Okay, let me take the day of March 1st, 1976, the day that the judge rendered his verdict in my case first. I didn't show any emotion because, you know, what am I supposed to do? Am I going to jump up on the table? Am I going to scream? That's what I felt like doing. I heard my mother crying. It's an emotional time. I don't even like to think of that day. But I wasn't going to give these people who went out and built a case around a non-existent eyewitness, an eyewitness identification that was built by the police. I wasn't going to give them the satisfaction of seeing me break down. And sure I'm mad. I'm showing emotion right now because inside I'm mad. But I've kept it together because there's no point in destroying myself. I have got to keep myself together. I have got to stay calm. I've got to keep my presence of mind because as long as I do that, I'm going to beat these people. And that's the way I feel. I showed no emotion. I felt emotion, believe me. Now, the irony comes here. When Carol DeRoche, the kidnapping victim from Utah, came to testify in this preliminary hearing here, I was beside myself with rage. She is turning into a professional witness as far as I'm concerned. She is a prosecution witness. And when I heard her go through that routine that I had heard 3 times before, I had restrained myself every time. I couldn't do it this time. And I told my attorney, I said, I'm going to get up. And I got up and I pointed at the judge and I pointed at her and I said, she's lying. She's lied 3 times before and she's lying now. And I felt it. And he pulled me down and he says, listen, he says, you can't do that. And I said, okay, but I had to do it for once. For once they had to do it. And do you know something? People say, Ted Bundy didn't show any emotion. There must be something in there. I showed emotion. You know what people said? See, he really can get violent and angry. There's no right way for me to act. I act, and I don't care what people think about how I act. I act according to the way I think is right and best for me at the time. And I'm not going to try to please people or impress people because, quite frankly, the amount of bias and prejudice that surrounds me as a media image, I can't begin to tear down.
There have been several leads to Bundy's whereabouts since his escape a couple of weeks ago, but none of them has panned out. They don't know where he is. But if you see him, call a cop. He has 2 guns, and he is considered very dangerous.